Now we will discuss the new topic, that is the potentiometer. This potentiometer you will see in the physics lab when you will go there for the practicals. And with the help of the potentiometer, we will measure the EMF, we will compare the EMF, we will measure the internal resistance in the physics lab. So definition, as I have written here, it is the device which is used to measure EMF across two terminals of a circuit, the potential difference, with high accuracy because it does not draw any current from the source of measurement, because it works on the null deflection, which we will see just after some time. In the lab setup, there are 10 wires. Each wire is of length 1 meter. So we are having 10 meter length of the potentiometer wire in the physics lab. So let me just read it. Now I will discuss the principle of potentiometer as I have shown here in the diagram. From Ohm's law, we people say that is V equal to IR, and you can say V equal to I. R is written as rho L by A. So rho is the specific resistance, L is the length, A is the area of cross section, I is current. Rho for the material from wire A to B is constant. Cross section area, if it is constant and I is constant, we will say V is proportional to L. This is the principle of potentiometer. What you will speak, if a constant current is allowed to flow through a wire of the uniform area of cross section, then potential drop is directly proportional to length of the wire, and this V by L is constant, that is known as the K. You will speak, it is known as the potential gradient. Okay. Practically what you will say, if I say there is a battery of 10 volt is connected across A and B, this is the resistance connecting conductor AB, and all these connecting wires are not having any resistance, suppose I say it, and it is written voltage. If I ask you what is the potential difference or voltage across A and B, you will say it is 10 volt. And if C point is the center point, middle of the A and B, and if I ask you what is the potential difference across A and C, you will say me 5 volt. Similarly, what is the potential difference across C and B? Again, you will say it is 5 volt. It means if I say here voltage is 10 volt, here it should be 5 volt, and this is negative, we can assume it is 0 volt. What is important here? What we are observing? This is the direction of flow of current. So what you will say, we are observing that in the direction of flow of current, potential is decreasing. Okay, and same thing, potential gradient. I say if this is the L meter length has the potential difference V, then 1 meter length has the potential difference V by L. It is known as the potential gradient, potential per unit length. Again, I will discuss the principle with you. Again, all of you go through it. This is the potentiometer wire. This is the primary circuit, and this is the voltmeter connected to jockey. And when the J point is at the connected to B, you will say this is the negative, so voltage is full voltage of the battery E you can obtain, and at the if you connect this J point at the A, voltage is 0. Okay, so again I am speaking, V is proportional to L, that is the principle of potentiometer. The potential difference across any length of the wire of the uniform cross section and uniform composition is proportional to its length when a constant current flow through it. And this is the graph between V and L. Now we will discuss the working of potentiometer. So all of you just focus in the first diagram. Here there are two cells of EMF E1 and E2, and they are connected to the galvanometer. Now in the circuit, current will be clockwise or anti-clockwise. It totally depends on E1, E2, whichever is greater. If E1 is more than E2, all of you intelligent, current will flow like this in the anti-clockwise path. and if E2 is greater than E1, then current will flow in the galvanometer through clockwise. Okay, and when the current flow through the galvanometer has to show some deflection. But if I say the galvanometer is showing, galvanometer is having zero deflection, no deflection in the galvanometer, and I say no deflection in galvanometer, and it is always possible when E1 equal to E2, it means we are able to get the situation when there is zero deflection in the galvanometer. Out of the E1 and E2, if one is known to us, another can be easily determined. Means if I don't know E2, I know only E1, then I can definitely say E2 equal to E1. Is it clear to all of you? Now in place of E1, we use the primary circuit, which is in the right side, and we complete the circuit like this. We connect to the E2. Suppose I say this is the connection of E2, and this is same galvanometer, and this galvanometer is connected to jockey. Jockey is the movable key. Okay, and you move the jockey on this wire, you are getting deflection. Again here you are getting deflection, but in opposite direction. It means somewhere on this wire you will get no deflection in the galvanometer. Suppose you say when the jockey is J point, there is no deflection in the galvanometer, and this length is L. Okay, so if I write the V across X and J, what I can say, K into L. K earlier we have discussed, that is the potential gradient, potential per unit length. So if potential per unit length is known to us, we multiply by the L, we are able to calculate the V across Xj. And when there is no current in the galvanometer, this voltage across Xj must be equal to EMF E2. And the same situation as we are discussing here, we can say it is E2, or we can say E2 is proportional to L. It means by measuring the balancing length, we are able to calculate the EMF. It is okay. So I think working is clear to all of you. Always we will measure the balancing length, and according to balancing length we will get the EMF. Is it clear? So all of you just read it. Potentiometer circuit have mainly primary circuit, which is always fixed, and all the parameters is known to you. This is the driver battery, and potential of this battery should be always more than potential which you want to measure this battery. This is rheostat. Of course we have to introduce ammeter also in the circuit, because in the potentiometer experiment we require the constant current. If current will change, then always K will change, potential gradient, then principle will be not valid. And second is the secondary circuit. Here we put the part which we want to measure, either internal resistance of the cell, either EMF of the battery, something like this. So all things you can read yourself. Pause the video and read yourself. Yes, let me explain you why we use the ammeter and rheostat combination. Of course ammeter is not there, you can draw here in series. When I discuss the principle of potentiometer, V equal to IR and I rho L by A, V is proportional to L. I told you this V is proportional to L is valid when current is constant. If current is not constant in the circuit, then V will not proportional to L, or V by L will not remain constant. So to maintain the constant current, we use the ammeter and rheostat with combination in this primary circuit. Reason is that when you will use the circuit, when you use the current, when you use the driver cell, after some time its potential decreases. Suppose you say its E is decreasing after some time. When E is decreasing, of course current will also decrease in the circuit. So when current will decrease, ammeter reading will decrease. When ammeter reading is decreasing, we can say current is decreasing in the circuit. At the same time, we decrease the resistance from the rheostat. Rheostat is a device which provides a variable resistance. So when we decrease the resistance, again what will happen? We can adjust the same current in the circuit and we can maintain the potential gradient. Okay, check it, just read it. Now tell me, we have to calculate potential gradient across this wire AB, which is of length L. Now all of you know potential gradient can be written as voltage across AB upon length of the AB wire. Now what is voltage across AB? It can be written as current flowing in the AB wire into resistance of the AB wire. What is current flowing in the AB wire? In this circuit which I have shown here, you will say net supply upon net resistance. This is the current. So you have to multiply by R0 also. So what is the value of the K in this situation? You will say E R0 upon R0 plus RH into L. Okay. In this way you are able to calculate the potential gradient. Now if there is galvanometer in the secondary circuit and you know the balancing length, you can easily calculate the secondary cell EMF. Okay, that I will discuss in the next slide. Just read it. Now factors on which the potential gradient depends, we have derived this relation in the last slide. So you can easily get these points which I have written here. So let us just read these points. Now question is that why we require the long wire in the potentiometer setup. I think this is the lab practical setup in which we are having the potentiometer which is of approximately 10 meter length. But why? Why we require such a large length? I think in last slide we have discussed the current sensitivity, and there I told you current sensitivity is given by deflection per unit current. Or if you just recall it. So you can say sensitivity is inversely proportional to current. Okay, and all of you know I is proportional to 1 by R because V equal to IR. It means sensitivity of the instrument depends on resistance, and we all know resistance depends on length. So ultimately sensitivity of the device depends on the length. That's why we use long wire in the potentiometer. So if question comes why we use the long wire, you will say to increase the sensitivity of the circuit. All of you read it. Now we will calculate in practical lab how we will measure the EMF of the unknown cell which is in the secondary circuit. We have to measure the unknown EMF E and balancing length, let it is given you small l. This is the balancing length. Now firstly tell me what is the resistance of this L length wire, or yes you say what is the resistance across A and J. Firstly we will calculate the resistance per unit length. If this wire AB is the resistance R0 and length is L, resistance per unit length is written as R0 by L. And what is the length of this wire AJ? That is small l. Now potential difference across AJ. All of you write what is the potential difference across AJ? You will say current through AJ, resistance across AJ. Now what is the current through AJ? I have discussed in the last slide. Net supply in the primary circuit, that is E, total resistance of the primary, that is R0 plus RH, we have discussed. And what is RAJ? You will say R0 by capital L into small l. Okay, at this length no deflection in the galvanometer. It means this EMF E must be equal to voltage or potential difference across A and G. What is this? Again I am writing here E R0 L upon R0 plus RH into L, and you can say this is K So you can say it is K into L, or E is proportional to L. So if we know the balancing length, we can easily determine the EMF of the cell which is connected in the secondary circuit. Okay, all of you read it. In the lab, how we will calculate it, EMF, let me show you. So in the lab we are having such a setup. This is the 10 meter long wire connected to the primary circuit here, and this is the secondary circuit. Okay, now we plug the key, we observe the current in the circuit, and all of you know this current should remain constant. If it is not constant, K will change and reading will change. K is potential gradient. Is it clear to all of you? Okay. Now this is the secondary cell, the cell which is connected in secondary circuit, whose EMF you have to calculate. You connect this, you observe the deflection toward one side, then other side. It means somewhere there is a point where we will get the zero deflection. Like we say this is the point where deflection is zero, and we all know V is proportional to L. If we are able to calculate this whole length L, L is measured from the positive end through which the current is entering into the circuit. Suppose I say here L is 56 centimeter on this wire, but this wire is I think fourth one from the top, so you will say 456. Is it clear to all of you? So when we were able to calculate the length, we can write V is proportional to L, and finally when we know the K, we can get the voltage or EMF of the secondary cell. Okay. Now